I drive for a rideshare app in the evenings. Mostly uneventful stuff. Tipsy students, tired office workers, the occasional chatty tourist. But one rider last month changed how I look at my job completely. His name on the app was just Jay. Pickup, 10:58 p.m. Location, a residential alley in a part of town where streetlights barely work. He slid into the back seat in silence. Black hoodie, gloves. Not odd for February, but something felt off. No hello, no eye contact. He kept his head low, facing the back of the seat in front of him. "Everything good?" I asked. He nodded once. The destination was even weirder. Drop near Highway 41. Unmarked road. I don't usually take vague drop-offs, but the app didn't flag it, and he had a 5-star rating, so I drove. 10 minutes in, he started humming, low, repetitive, like a lullaby out of tune. I asked if he needed music or air, but he didn't respond, just hummed. I checked the rear view. His eyes were open. He was staring down at something in his lap. Looked like duct tape and a Ziploc bag. Every instinct told me to cancel the ride, pull over, say the car had a flat. But I didn't. Instead, I turned onto the unmarked road, really just a gravel trail leading into the woods. GPS gave up halfway down. My headlights hit a rusted gate and a sign that said, "Private, no entry." He tapped my shoulder. "Here's good." I braked. No movement. Then he leaned forward, almost whispering, "Wait 10 minutes before leaving, please." He stepped out, pulled up his hoodie, and disappeared into the trees. I locked the doors the second he vanished. My hands were shaking. I wanted to leave, but his voice, the way he asked, I don't know, something held me there. 9 minutes passed. Then I heard a scream. Short, male, then nothing. I drove off, full throttle. Didn't care about damaging the suspension on the gravel. I just wanted distance. I reported the ride anonymously the next day. No follow-up, no response. And the worst part? His account still exists. Same name, same perfect rating. And I've seen him pop up as a nearby rider more than once since. I never accepted, but someone else always does. I work night shifts at a gas station off I-90. The kind of place that's halfway between nowhere and forgotten. Quiet most nights, except Thursday. It always starts the same. 1:47 a.m. A white SUV pulls into pump 4, lights off, engine running. Never comes inside, never buys gas, just sits. The first time, I thought it was someone checking GPS or arguing with someone on the phone. I stepped outside to offer help. It drove off before I even got halfway. Second week, same SUV, same time. Pulled in, idled, then left when I stepped outside again. By the fourth time, I stopped trying. I just watched through the security monitor. License plate was always too dark to read. Curiosity got to me. I checked the cameras after each visit. Here's where it got weird. The footage skipped. Not glitched, skipped. Like someone edited out exactly 30 seconds from the recording. One moment the SUV was there. Then it was already leaving. Smooth, clean, too perfect. I mentioned it to my boss. He half joked about me falling asleep at the counter. "Night shifts mess with your head," he said. "You sure it's not a dream?" The sixth Thursday, I didn't wait inside. I parked my own car down the road and walked to the edge of the woods, across from the gas station. Hid between two pines and waited. 1:47 a.m. on the dot. White SUV, no lights. Rolls into pump 4. But this time I wasn't watching on a screen. I was there. Someone got out. Not fully, just enough to open the rear door. And they placed something on the ground behind the pump. A black case, like a toolbox or small suitcase. Then they got back in and drove away. Gone within 20 seconds. I waited a minute, then another. Once the road was quiet, I sprinted to the pump. The case was gone. Not taken. Gone. No tracks, no noise. Nothing on camera either, just the usual skip. I don't know what's going on. Drug drop, trafficking, some kind of test? I reported it anonymously, but the SUV keeps showing up. Same night, same time, same ritual. So now I stay inside. I lock the door at 1:30. Lights off. No motion, no sound. Because whatever it is they're doing out there, I don't think I'm supposed to be watching anymore. I haul refrigerated freight across state lines, mostly overnight. It's a quiet job. You learn to love the silence, or go nuts in it. A few weeks ago, I was on a 2-day haul from Billings to Portland. Nothing unusual until I pulled into a rest stop just past midnight outside Missoula. Place was half lit, a single semi in the far lot, cab dark. I parked near the building, used the restroom, grabbed a vending machine sandwich, and sat back in the cab to eat. That's when I saw him, middle-aged guy, maybe late 40s, standing about 20 feet from my passenger door, just outside the reach of the overhead light. Hoodie, ball cap. Didn't move. Just stood there, staring through the windshield like he knew me. I hit the locks. He didn't react. I waited, staring back, sandwich halfway to my mouth. Eventually, he turned and walked around the back of the trailer. I waited. A minute passed. 2. Then I started the truck and pulled out. Didn't see him again in the mirror. Next morning, I checked the trailer before unloading. There was a deep scratch near the rear latch, like someone tried to pry it open with a tool. I asked the warehouse guys if anything looked off. Nothing missing. Nothing moved. I told myself it was nothing. Just a weird guy. Happens all the time. 3 nights later, on the return trip, I stopped at a different rest area, this time in Idaho. Same setup. Quiet, just me and one other truck. I parked, killed the engine, and opened my lunchbox. Knock, knock. I jumped. Passenger door, same guy. Same hoodie, same stare. But this time, he was closer, smiling. I started the truck again. Full throttle, didn't care about air pressure or warm-up. Peeled out of the lot and drove for 3 straight hours. Knuckles white, heart punching through my ribs. I called a buddy of mine who used to drive. Told him the whole thing. He didn't laugh. "You think someone's targeting you?" he asked. I hadn't considered it seriously. But then he said something that stuck with me. "If he knew your route once, he can learn it again. You stop in patterns, man. That's what creeps watch." Since then, I've changed everything. Stops, schedules, rest times. No posted check-ins, no social updates. I even sleep with a tire iron next to my bunk. But I still see him, not every night. Just often enough that I started locking the trailer from the inside when I sleep. That smile's burned into my brain now. It's not the supernatural you should fear out here. It's the people who know your habits and wait. The road was empty when I picked her up. It was nearly 1 a.m., somewhere along a forested stretch of Route T12. She stood by the guardrail in a white hoodie, thumb out, staring at the ground. I slowed down, not because I usually pick up hitchhikers, but because she looked about 16, scared, cold, shoes missing. I rolled down the window and leaned out. "You okay?" She looked up with a face that made my stomach twist, pale but not sickly, like she was drawn in pencil, not born. "Just need to get to mile 63, she whispered. I nodded and unlocked the passenger door. She climbed in without looking at me, just stared out the window, clutching a plastic grocery bag to her chest. She smelled like rain on old concrete. I tried to make small talk, but she didn't speak. Just breathe slowly, like every exhale counted for something. Then she said one thing. When we pass it, don't stop. Pass what? She didn't answer. 15 minutes later, my headlights hit something ahead, a man in the middle of the road waving his arms. I started to brake, but she screamed, "Don't!" I swerved around him. In the mirror, he didn't turn to watch us pass. He just stood there. 20 minutes later, it happened again. Same man, same spot, same desperate waving. I didn't slow down this time. The girl started crying softly, her arms wrapped tighter around the plastic bag. I asked her what was going on. Her voice cracked when she finally spoke. He doesn't want help. He wants a ride. But if he gets in, he stays, even after you leave the truck. I asked her what was in the bag. She didn't answer. At mile marker 63, she said, "Pull over." I did. She got out, walked to the rear of the truck, and placed the bag gently on the asphalt. Then she turned to me. "Someone picked me up last year." He didn't listen. The man got in. I've been trying to keep him out ever since. "What's in the bag?" She looked almost apologetic. "My bones." I blinked. She smiled, tired. Now someone else might see him. Someone else might stop. But not you. You kept going. And then she was gone. Just gone. Like she'd stepped backward into fog and disappeared. I drove straight until sunrise. Never looked in the mirror once. That was a week ago. Now every night at 1 a.m. my passenger seat creaks. Even when I'm parked. And sometimes I catch my own reflection blinking. A second too late. It was supposed to be a simple overnight haul from Phoenix to Reno. Clear skies, empty highway, and a podcast to keep me awake. Around 2:30 a.m. the GPS rerouted me. I didn't touch anything. The voice calmly said, "Take exit 34 in 500 feet. I'd driven this route before. There was no exit 34. Yet somehow a sign appeared. Exit 34, Service Road, Hollow Pines. I was too tired to question it. I turned off. The off-ramp spiraled tighter than it should have. The trees grew thicker, leaning toward the road like they wanted to touch the truck. I looked at the stars, gone. Sky pitch black. The service road led to a gas station. Not a brand I recognized. One rusted pump. Neon sign blinking. Always open, never full. I stepped inside. The clerk wore a dusty old uniform. His name tag read Ray, but the letters were reversed like a mirror. "What'll it be?" he asked. "Just passing through," I muttered. He smiled too wide. "Everyone says that, but nobody ever does." I turned to leave and froze. Through the truck window, I saw someone sitting in my passenger seat. I'd locked the truck before I walked in. I was sure of it. I ran to the truck. The cab was empty, but the passenger seat was reclined, still warm. On the dash was a printed receipt. Fuel, memory, paid, familiarity, balance, identity. My name had vanished from my license, just a blank strip where it should be. I drove, fast, tried to backtrack. But every sign I passed read, Exit 34, Service Road, Hollow Pines. Even when I turned around, the CB clicked on, static, then a voice. "You exited, you pay. The road doesn't take back what it gives." Headlights appeared behind me. A tow truck, no driver, but its horn blared like it was alive. I veered off the road, cut the lights, waited. It passed me slowly. On the door was a faded logo. Ray's Recovery. We never leave you behind. Eventually, the road looped back to the gas station. Ray stood outside, holding another receipt. "Told you," he said. "No one leaves." He handed it to me. "Welcome, employee 34. Duty. Lure the next one in. Now I stand behind the counter, and another truck just pulled in.